Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Running Code, humor in South Texas law enforcement. I'm your host, T-Bone. My partner, J-Man, is always by my side. What's up, brother?
Not much, man. Hopefully, I won't have a bunch of sniffles and allergy crap going on.
I know. We got messages saying they were concerned about you. I said, he's fine.
What's funny,
He just got in the evidence locker.
I'm pretty sure, like when I was here, I had the flu. Like when I was here with that last one.
Yeah, you didn't get me sick, so I appreciate that. Thank
Yeah.
you. I have a sturdier immune system than that, thank you, God. So, we didn't get last week's out of the way. Something came up for both of us. It is what it is. Like I said, we're not getting paid for this, so we're doing the best we can with what we got. Now, if we both retire and decide to do this full time, well, then we'd have no excuses. But by then, I would expect to be getting paid. So we're just doing this for fun. And I know I say humor in South Texas law enforcement, but it should be humor in education in South Texas law enforcement.
Yeah.
Because we seem to do more educating than trying to be funny. Because I'm not a comedian.
Yeah.
So-
So like purposely fun.
Maybe it should be from now on humor and education in South
yeah.
Texas law enforcement. You know what? We might try that. Well, maybe get some feedback on it. We've had a couple emails. Appreciate those emails. We will respond to those on the show. Again, when it's by email, I won't put out your personal business. But if you leave a comment on YouTube, well, that's different. That's public, and you're the idiot who put it out there if it's something stupid for everyone to see. So, again, like I said, if it's racist or prejudice or biased, we're going to delete that because that's not what this show is for. But if it's just, I hate cops, cool. Thanks for watching. Appreciate the view. So, here we are in sunny South Texas, and the weather is finally starting to warm back up. That was about the shortest winter on record. You know, that whole little mini, the world's going to end freeze, that turned out to be a whole lot of nothing.
Oh, it wasn't Fimble Winter?
It was nothing. We had all minor crashes, just people sliding, on ice that they shouldn't have been driving. Just stay home, It was nice. I mean, for me, actually, I was surprised because as a crash investigator, I was like, I'm gonna have a couple fatalities. No,
That's good.
it was chill. I was like, thank you, God. Just stay home, people. Just stay home. And it was much ado about nothing. There was nothing. They were expecting snowpocalypse like back in 21, where all of South Texas was under 6 inches of snow. They were expecting that. They got nothing even remotely close to it. It was like frost. I was like, you guys are idiots. But they closed the schools and highways, and I'm like, oh my God. They were just trying to preemptively keep it from happening. And this time, the power didn't really go out too much. You had it in smaller neighborhoods, and that was usually because trees landed on power lines,
Yep.
stuff like that. Nothing like it wasn't the power grid failing like
Right.
21. So maybe some lessons really did get learned because ERCOT was saying we fixed those problems, it won't happen again, and it didn't seem to happen. At least not that I saw or heard about.
No.
So,
Same.
And usually again, it was usually trees falling on power lines. So, and they restored the power within a couple hours. So
Yeah.
it wasn't all that bad. I still had to go to work, obviously, because I'm still, I'm mandatory personnel. I'm not a civilian that gets to take the day.
Yep.
So, but that's fine. I know how to drive on this shit. It's not a big deal. So, all you gotta do is just slow down.
Yep.
That's all you gotta do. Slow down, take your turns a little slower. You don't gotta accelerate hard off the line or slam on the brakes. Just drive and keep your distance by the cars, and you'll be fine.
Yeah. It's true.
It's common sense,
That's true.
which is not real common. And you're from back east, where you deal with this crap routinely.
Yeah.
Snow and ice and sleet and all that crap.
I don't miss it.
Oh, I bet. I wouldn't miss it either. My parents live in Montana, and I love going up there, but not in the winter. I'll see you in July.
I don't miss the 5 a.m. like wake ups to start shoveling the snow. It's still snowing. I'm just shoveling it because I don't want it to accumulate when it stops at like 9 in, and I gotta deal with a pile of snow that's up here versus it's down here because I was actively working.
That's why you got to invest in a snowblower, brother.
I'm too poor for that. I had a rusted metal shovel.
Of course. Hey, keep it simple.
Yeah.
And then, of course, our third co-host, Jax, who's, if y'all can see him laying down there, he thinks he's an integral part of the show, and he's also a great guard dog, mainly for noise, right? Yeah, see? You heard his name, so now he thinks it's playtime. So, we cover a variety of topics, and sometimes we go on a tangent, go sideways, end up discussing something else, and we've discussed the topics we're going to discuss today before, but not that I recall really super in depth. And the emails we've had a lot of them from police cadets who actually use what we talk about to pass their tests. And to me, that means the world to me. That means that what we're giving you is good info and you're learning from us. And sometimes it's better to learn. I believe that humor teaches better than anything else. And something's funny, you remember it. Think Dave Chappelle. 20 plus years later, we can quote that show line by line because it was hilarious.
Right.
But I couldn't tell you the Gettysburg Address. Boring. Okay, so we learn through humor as humans. Humor has the longest lasting impact besides trauma.
Right.
So if you learn from us and it helps you in the police academy or remember certain things, great. That's what we're here for. And I'm thrilled to hear that when I get emails like that from people saying, you helped me pass my test. Thank you so much. Hey, excellent. So today, what I planned on discussing was, what are your actual rights? And I don't mean constitutional rights, although this falls in that. But I mean, situationally, what are your rights? Whether you are a suspect, whether you're a citizen, or you're a police officer, what are your rights? And then more in depth on how Miranda actually works, when it's invoked, what means invoking, when do you have to give Miranda warning, when do you not have to give Miranda warning, stuff like that. And I think this is very important for officers to know because I will tell you that 75% of officers do not know how Miranda works. Because a lot of agencies, the patrolmen don't do the interrogating.
Yeah.
They don't ask the questions really outside of the surface questions, just ask probable cause and cuff them, call it a day, and stop talking. As an investigator, I'm the one who actually has to do the follow-up interviews. We don't call them interrogations anymore because this is a softer world. It's an interview, but it means the same damn thing. So, but I end up Mirandizing a lot more. And there's times I do it, and there's times I don't do it. And it's going to be situational. It's going to depend on their attitude, their cooperative level. But cooperative or not, you do not have to speak to law enforcement. Mm-hmm. Ever. You don't have to. Do us investigators love it? Well, of course, because I'm going to get my information. And the more you tell me, the less I got to dig, because it's coming from your mouth now. So I don't really have to. And then I'll tell you, as the audience, why district attorney's offices, some don't like confessions. I've ran into that before where I had a full confession and they dismissed the case with a full confession and I had the evidence from his confession to back up his confession. And they still, we're going to dismiss it. Are you out of your mind? He confessed. Post Miranda, no duress. He confessed, and then when I got the search warrant based off his confession, and found the rest of the stolen guns. There's the evidence. It matches his confession to a T. The number of guns. Like, how do you not want that confession? So, but you know what? I did my job.
Yeah.
Hey, all I can do is my job, and that's what I tell officers all the time. You do your job, and let everyone else do their job. If they fail to do their job, you did yours. So when the family wants to call the police department, the sheriff's office, or the state police and go, how come you didn't do this? Well, we did. I'm going to direct you to the district attorney's office. You can talk to them. We did our job. By the time I submit my prosecution guides about that thick, I did my job. Now, it's your job to prosecute or not prosecute. That's on you. I'm out of that decision-making process. Sometimes they'll call me and ask, well, hey, we're thinking about doing this and this. What are your thoughts on it? And I like that when prosecutors will call me and I can, well, based on totality, I believe in this and this. This should be the punishment, but that's just my personal feelings. What do y'all think? Well, we're thinking about this and this. Okay, well, I mean, you asked my opinion. It's just my opinion. That's all it is. So you do you. Under judicial proceedings and law, you do what you want to do. I'm just giving you my opinion. What's the max sentence? Well, depending on his history and the crime that occurred and his confession to it, probably should have the higher end. But y'all's call. You want to make it deferred? Hey, you do you. I did my job. So, but we're going to talk about what are your rights as a citizen, as a suspect, and as a police officer. Now, off the top, everybody has the same rights, regardless of their status, whether it's citizen, suspect, or police officer. Everyone has the same rights. You have the right not to be unreasonably seized and searched. You have the right to not self-incriminate. You have the right to have an attorney present. You have the right not to answer any questions. You have the right not to be tortured, abused, or mistreated. You have all these rights regardless of your status, or whatever it is. Mm-hmm. You have all those rights. None of that changes. But let's talk about specifics and Miranda. And let's start with suspects, because that's the most common, really, when it comes to rights.
Right.
Let's just start off simple. Let's keep it simple. Let's start with a traffic stop.
Yep.
I pull you over for speed, registration, whatever it is. I'll walk up to the car. You identify yourself, why you stopped them, ask for their license, insurance, registration, whatever your agency handles. Like our agency just asks for license, insurance. We don't bother asking for registration. I just ask for license, insurance. Oh, it's on my phone. Here's the paper, whatever it is. and I see something in the car that gives me cause for concern. I see either a weapon or narcotics or paraphernalia in plain view, and I want them away from that wheel. I have the right and the authority to remove you from that vehicle. You do not have the right to say no to me. If I tell you to exit the vehicle, now whether I say, would you please step out of the car or get out of the car now, it amounts to the same thing. It's a lawful order. Under Pennsylvania versus Mims, a landmark Supreme Court ruling, I have that right as a police officer to order anyone out of the car anytime I want to. I don't need a reason. I don't need to justify it to you. I don't got to tell you a why. Get out of the car. The minute you say no, I don't have to ask twice. I've already asked you once. You heard me. Now, some officers now, and you've got the softer, age where they want us to ask you 25 times before you do it. But there is no case law that says I have to ask you multiple times. Case law states if a police officer asks you to step out of the vehicle, you must comply. That's it. So the way I always did it was I ask you, and then I'll tell you, and then you're coming out of the car. Because the longer you're in that car, the more you're going to get your hackles up, the more you're going to start resisting, and the more you're going to start thinking about, should I hit the gas? Should I reach for a weapon? Like, I want you away from that car right now. If it's a foot pursuit, it's a foot pursuit. But you're away from that 4,000-pound hunk of metal going down the road. So, you as a citizen, what are your rights in that case? Same rights you always had, but you have to follow lawful orders. You do not get to decide on the side of the road that was legal, illegal. You stopped me for this. That was, I don't think I did it. You don't have that right. That's what trial's for. Okay? My job as a police officer is to write the report to justify under state law and case law and policy why I did what I did. And then you can come in with your lawyer and come up, tell all the whoppers you want to, but you don't fight me on the side of the road and try to fight the case right then and there, and you do not disregard my lawful orders to you when I say get out of the car. I have the right to detain you in handcuffs. If I feel I need to, I can legally do that, and there's nothing you can do about it. I have the right to do that. Now, it's all going to be situational. I pull over the 80-year-old grandmother. I'm not going to yank her out of the car, handcuff her, throw her against the car. You got to be situational about this, guys. And this is where we get in trouble as officers is, yes, while we can do it, it's when do we do it. So what we can do is not always what we should do.
Right.
Law's black and white says we can do this, but we need to look at the whole situation and go, but should I do this? So if I got an 80-year-old woman that's refusing to get out of the car, can I put my hands on her and pull her out? Yeah, I can. But should I? She's 80. Like, let's have a little situational common sense. That say I got the 20-year-old gangbanger covering tattoos with a nasty attitude telling me he's going to hurt me. That's a different approach. So just because someone's being mouthy, they have every right to be mouthy. They can call you every name under the sun. You're a cocksucker, you're a pig, you're a piece of shit, whatever, blah, 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 blah. It's just words. It changes when I'm going to kill you. I'm going to kick your ass. That's a whole different ball of wax now.
Yeah.
But if they're just being verbally calling you names, who gives a fuck? And I've had them call me all that while they're handing me what I've asked for. Great, that's what I've asked for. Call me whatever you want. You're still handing me what I've asked for. And you're a cocksucker. That's cool. I'll be right back. Go back, run them. Take the enforcement action that you plan to take. Come back. All right, sir, I still think you're a prick. That's cool, sir. Here's your driver's license. Here's your citation. Here's your court date. Here's my name and badge number at the bottom. Here's the offense. Here's the date and time. You are free to go. Drive safe. You're a cocksucker as they drive off. Cool, have a great day. You're free to say all that. I don't care if you do or not. I don't give tickets based on attitude. I give tickets based on, are you willing to hear what I've got to tell you why you did what you did was unsafe?
Yeah.
That's all I care about. If you can call me a cocksucker, and you have that right all day long, and I don't care. Call me pig, call me cocksucker. I don't care. I'm not going to lose my career and my freedom over your mouth. It's not going to happen. But I've also an older, wiser officer who's been around a little while. You got some officers that let their ego lead them and make decisions. So yes, just because you can order someone to step out of the vehicle, are you only doing it because he's just being mouthy, calling you names? Like, you have to look at the whole situation. Like, is this a gangbanger with an attitude, or is this Joe Citizen who just doesn't like cops and he's on his way to work? Like, let's be situational.
Yeah.
So I have the right as a police officer to order you out of the vehicle. You do not have the right as the suspect or citizen to tell me no. And I do not have to justify it. I don't have to tell you why. Like, to say I run you and you have a warrant for your arrest. I don't have to go up to the car and go, hey man, you got a warrant, get out of the car. I don't have to tell you why I want you out of the car. 9 out of 10, you know you have a warrant. You just want me to confirm it. Or I've seen it on a million videos, so have you, and we've heard it in person. Oh, you have to tell me why before I get out of the car. No, I don't. I don't have to tell you squat. I want you away from the car, and then when I'm putting you in handcuffs, after I put you in handcuffs, then I'm going to explain what's going on, and by then you're in handcuffs, it's too late. But so as a citizen, you don't have the right to say no to that. You can ask all day long. I don't have to answer you. But the reverse is also true. I can ask you questions as a citizen all day long, and you can clam up. You don't got to tell me shit.
Yeah.
So here's what you are required to give law enforcement. You are required upon detention, whether arrest or detention, you are required to give your name, date of birth, address, social security number. You're required to give those items. Those items you cannot refuse to give. You don't have a choice. You are legally detained or legally arrested. You don't have a choice. Anything else, though, you don't have to say shit. You have the right to go and clam up and not talk. I've seen officers get mad when suspects don't answer their questions. You can't be mad at somebody for exercising a constitutional right, not to self-incriminate, because you have the same rights as a police officer. And we're going to get to differences, though, in internal affairs, policy versus criminal.
Right.
Because there are differences. And Garrity versus New Jersey, for officers who've never heard that one or going to an academy right now, you need to look up Garrity versus New Jersey and know what your rights are and what your limits are and what internal affairs limits are versus any public integrity unit that investigates officers criminally, because that is separate from internal affairs. Policy and criminal are separate.
Yeah.
And we'll get to Garrity protections and your Garrity warning and all that. So, again, rights. You have the right to remain silent. You have the right to have an attorney present during any questioning, if you choose. And if you can't afford one, we'll provide one for you. And you can answer questions anytime, and you can stop anytime you want to. And these rights are continuing, which means you can use them anytime you want to. You don't have to go, hey, are my rights still good? Your rights are always good. They're always good. Now, reading them, if I arrest you, you're a suspect. I saw something in the car, or it turns out you had narcotics in plain view and I arrest you, or at least detain you while I confirm and test that those narcotics, and at that point you are under arrest because they're in possession of meth, coke, heroin, fentanyl, whatever it is. I have the right to ask you your name, date of birth, address, social security number. Those are identifiers. If I'm going to question you about the narcotics I just found and you are not free to go and you realize and you understand you're not free to go, then I have to read you Miranda. I have to read it to you. Because the two measures to require Miranda, you are detained or arrested, which means not free to leave, and you know you're not free to leave, and it has to pertain to an offense. Your name, date of birth, social, and address have nothing to do with an offense. Those are identifiers and demographics. That's all that is. Those you have to answer. Everything else, you can just stare at me or tell me to fuck you, or I'm not telling you shit. Okay. And you have that right. But as an officer, if they are not free to leave, they are detained or arrested. They know this, either because you told them you're not free to leave. The minute you tell someone they're not free to leave, they are detained. Mm-hmm. So if you start questioning them about an offense, and they admit to it, that might be inadmissible. It will be an inadmissible statement. Doesn't mean the case is thrown away. And there's a lot of misconceptions of that. People think, oh, if I don't get Mirandized, the whole case is gone. That's not true.
Yeah.
It just means we have to find other evidence.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I've heard it too. Well, that means the whole case is gone. No, it means any statements you gave are gone.
Right.
Or let's say I ask you, okay, situationally, I got you detained because I have probable cause to believe there's narcotics in the vehicle based on statements you made, what I've seen, smelled, whatever.
Right.
Because like meth tastes or smells like taste.
Taste.
Meth smells like, yeah, I know, right? Don't ever taste anything, guys. There's 5 senses. You only use 4 in this job.
That's funny.
I smell the odor of ammonia. It smells like cat piss. That's meth. That's going to be meth. Mm-hmm. All right, sir, get out of the car. You're not free to leave. I handcuff him. Hey, man, are there drugs in this car? Oh, yeah, I got a bag in the trunk. That statement's going to be inadmissible. Okay? Because I didn't Mirandize. I just asked an incriminating question, and I told you weren't free to leave, either because I put you in handcuffs, which any reasonable person would believe. If I'm in handcuffs, I'm not free to leave at this point. I would think I'm not free to leave if you put me in handcuffs.
I mean, do you one better? You put someone in the back of a police unit.
They're no longer free to walk away.
Handcuffed.
Yeah, but are they free to leave?
Can
they open the doors?
No.
There you go.
Yeah.
They're not free to leave.
What if you...
if I leave the door open, and I've done that, hey man, you can sit right here if you want to. I'm going to leave the door open. You're free to get out and walk around.
Now let me ask you this one. I'm gonna throw another scenario at you.
All right, throw me
It's
a
on-
scenario.
So you called for other officers, right, to assist you. You know, for whatever reason, you called other officers to assist you, and the person, your suspect, is standing there, and there's like, let's say three. There's three of y'all, you know, all around them, right, for officer safety. You know, watching angles, what have you. Would that person believe that they're free to go?
No,
But why?
because you have that many officers blocking all your points of exit.
Yep.
I'm not free to go that way.
That
Shit, I can't go this way. Shit, I can't go that way. Shit, I'm not allowed to leave. In their mind, they would think I'm not free to leave.
And that
So there is case law on that, is officer presence. If I have one officer just talking to the guy and he goes, "Can I leave?" And I go, "No, you just detained him." That just by the very virtue of saying no when he asks if he's free to leave. But if he goes, "Am I free to leave?" Yeah, man, you can leave anytime you want to. You're free to go. Once you tell them they're free to go, you can ask them anything you want to. You don't need Miranda, and I'll get to that. And I'll get to the specifics on Miranda, when you have to versus when you don't have to versus when it's good practice not to. Okay, because there's good practice as well. But it all boils down to that Miranda versus Arizona decision too. You know, that Supreme Court decision back in the 60s that made this. You always had these rights. Prior to Miranda, though, officers did not, it wasn't a case like that you had to read the Miranda warning and tell someone they had the right to remain silent and right to a lawyer and right not to self-incriminate and all that. It was always there. It just wasn't a Supreme Court ruling yet that made it mandatory. That you shall, in these circumstances, read the Miranda warning to the suspect. Now, I always read the Miranda off a card. I have a card that I always kept in my pocket. Do I know the Miranda warning? Yeah, verbatim. But I always read it off the card.
right.
And I do that so I can never in court, because the one time you don't read it off the card and you miss a sentence, it's just because you know, oh shit, I missed a sentence. You get in court, the defense attorney goes, "Hey, do you know the Miranda warning?" "I do." Did you Mirandize my client?" "I did." "Did you tell him his rights?" "I did." "Did you read it off a card?" "No, I said it out loud." Can you, off the top of your head, give the Miranda warning to the jury? Well, you get the whole thing right in front of the jury, but then he plays your body camera footage of you missing an entire sentence to his client.
Yep.
Read it off the card, and you never got to worry about it. You just read it right off the card. Can't miss anything there. Line by line by line. There's 5 sentences to the Miranda warning. Read all 5. So that's why I never did it off the top of my head.
Right.
I read it off the card, or as an investigator, I have the actual Miranda sheet, and I read it, and they sign that they read their rights. Now, do they have to sign it? No. But I'm on camera. In fact, I'm on 2 different cameras. You still got read it, and you said you understood it. Because I'll ask them, "Do you understand your rights?" "Yeah, I understand my rights." "All right, please sign right there. You understand your rights." "I ain't signing that shit." "Okay." Still said verbally on camera that you understood your rights. I don't need your signature. It's nice to have. It's a need, or it's a want, but not a need. So I should say it's a want, not a necessity.
Right.
He still said vocally on camera, "Yeah, I understand my rights. Fuck you, I ain't signing that." "Okay. All right, cool." Now, at that point, you're probably not going to get much cooperation any further, really, honestly. They're talking like that already from the rip.
Yeah.
So, rights as a citizen. You have the right to ask me anything you want as a citizen. I don't have to answer. But what goes around comes around. I have the right to ask them anything I want to. They don't have to answer as a citizen. They can be like, "No, I ain't telling you shit then. You ain't telling me shit, I ain't telling you shit. Fuck you." Now, there are some things you don't always want to share with the suspect. You know, there's certain like, "Yeah, your neighbor told me they saw you do X, Y, Z."
Yeah.
Now, are they eventually going to find that out? Yes, because it's going to go in your report where you got the information, full disclosure of all material, including exculpatory, which means evidence that may exonerate the client, goes to the defense attorney. So eventually they're going to find out who ratted them out. Now, there is a few scenarios where that's not always the case. Mafia trials, you know, stuff with organized crime, they may firewall that and say, "No, we're not going to release how we knew that." You know, maybe just yet. Eventually, at some point, they're going to find out. And it's just, they have to. It's all material has to be given to the defense attorney, everything,
Right.
including exonerating evidence. You don't have a choice. As law enforcement officers, this is what you don't understand. A lot of cops don't understand that you need to understand. Your job is not to convict anybody. That's not your job. Your job is to investigate the offense, and if you find evidence that may potentially clear the suspect, you have to add that. You can't, well, I'm leaving that part off because it doesn't match what happened here, and I'll just put in the stuff that makes him look guilty. No. You have to, the totality of everything has to be in that report, whether it's damning or saving. And you don't have a choice in that. And this is where a lot of officers go wrong, is they don't add the stuff that may exonerate the person that's being accused of a crime. But then it comes to trial, and it was on camera that you were told this stuff, but it's not in your report.
Yep.
I guarantee you that footage will not be suppressed.
Yeah.
That footage will absolutely be played because you left it out.
Yep.
So a lot of officers think, well, I need to leave that part off, where the neighbor said, couldn't have been him. I just got home and he wasn't even here when I got home. He got home after I got home, but the crime occurred before they got home.
Yeah.
You know, and you have to put that in. Speaking with the neighbor stated that the suspect arrived home after they arrived home at approximately this time. The crime is said to have occurred at this time, meaning he may not have done it.
Yep.
Doesn't mean he parked the car somewhere else, hopped the fence, did it, then came back and got the car, came over later. Hey, could have, maybe. But you have to add that statement. That's an exculpatory statement. You don't have a choice. A lot of officers leave this stuff off, and then I, as the investigator, start going through all the footage, and I'm like, what did he say? That's not in the report. That's kind of important. So it's not my job to convict. My job is to present all the facts to the district attorney's office and let them make the decision. Police officers arrest on probable cause. Conviction is based on proof beyond a reasonable doubt.
Yep.
The prosecutor's office handles the proof beyond a reasonable doubt part. I handle the probable cause. I want, obviously, all the evidence I can get. If I truly believe this person committed the offense, I want all the evidence I can get. But at the end of the day, it's still just probable cause.
Yeah.
It's probable cause based on elements of the offense in the Texas Penal Code. That's all it is. Everything after that is out of my hands. No longer my call, no longer my choice. The DA's office is going to handle the rest of it from there. As long as I did my job, hopefully they will do their job. Not my issue any longer. So it's very important as officers that you are thorough in your reports, because we do want to clear people as much as we want to convict people. If this person genuinely didn't commit the crime, we're not putting him in jail. He may have committed other offenses, but you can't count those.
Right.
What do you have right now in this situation that matters? And that's all that matters. So I'm not going to forget to add things that will clear this dude. Yeah, you may not like a person because you dealt with him before and he was a turd before, but if he's genuinely innocent of the crime he's being accused of, we work just as hard to clear as we do to convict. Because he may not have done it. We need to find the right person. So this is where a lot of people get confused in the roles and responsibilities of the patrol officer that makes the arrest versus the detective that investigates it versus the prosecutor that sends it forward to and dive into that prosecution.
Right.
There are different responsibilities and roles for every level. But all police officers, whether they're detectives, sergeants, captain, lieutenant, chief, all still fall under the same laws and case law rulings regardless of rank.
Yep.
So as a patrolman, it's very important that you add anything that may exonerate that person as well. He has that right for you to be thorough. He has the right for you to be thorough and do it correctly.
Yep.
What if he didn't do it?
It's true.
And here you are hiding evidence. That's exactly what it's going to be presented as by the defense attorney.
Yep.
You hid evidence that
Yep.
exonerated my client. What else did you lie about? Officer, are you lying then or are you lying now? And that statement on the stand is damning as hell. Are you lying then or are you lying now? Because the jury just got told one of those is a lie. Which one's the lie? Your credibility is gone completely. So you never want to do that. You put everything in there. Then when they go, well, officer, let me ask you, the neighbor stated X, Y, Z. Yes, sir. Well, then why'd you arrest my client? I still had enough probable cause to believe your client committed the offense. That's an exculpatory comment, which I added to my report for the investigator to investigate further. I am resting based on probable cause. And this is the probable cause. I had this, and this. So all this, and just one statement over here, does not get rid of all this. But it is something to note, and it goes in the report. And the investigator will do his or her job and go, that's total horseshit, and I can prove it. And I got the ring camera footage that the neighbor was lying.
Right.
You know, whatever it may be. But that's your right as a citizen not to be railroaded. Mm-hmm. Full facts and knowledge that we knew at the time of the arrest. That's it. That's what we're held to the standard to. What facts did we know at the time? Not what came out later in an investigation by detectives a month later, 6 months later, a year later. What did I know at the time? And that's the totality of the circumstance, totality of the facts. Now, we've discussed now what are your rights as a suspect. And let's discuss Miranda. Let's just get into that because it is one of the most misunderstood rights, and its application is so misunderstood. Some jurisdictions, some agencies, and this is now agency policy, not law, some agencies may have a policy that you will Mirandize on any arrest, period. End of story, whether you talk to them or not. And that's fine. They can make that policy. And there's really nothing wrong with it. But it's a policy, not the law. So policy can be stricter than the law. Policy just can't be less stricter than the law.
Right.
So policy says, yeah, your agency will read Miranda on any arrest for no matter what, for any offense. Whether it's Class C to capital or any warrant arrest, you will Mirandize. Okay. And that's fine. That's your policy from your agency. You're only required to read it if, again, the prongs, they are not free to leave and they know that, and you're going to question them regarding an offense. If it's not those, you don't have to. Now, there's caveats to this. Let's say that I call you on the phone. You're the suspect. All right, J-Man, I'm sorry, you're the suspect. Don't take that personal. I'm the investigator. I call you on the phone, and I want to talk to you about the offense that you are alleged to have committed. Mm-hmm. Do I have to read your Miranda warning if I'm talking to you on the phone and I start asking questions about a crime?
No.
No, I don't. Do you know why I don't have to?
Because I can just always hang up.
You can hang up. At any time, you can just hang up the phone and go, fuck you, click.
Yeah.
So no. And I've gotten many a confession, and I always have my camera running. I'm recording every conversation with the suspect because I'm not stupid. I can ask you any damn question in the world I want to, and I don't have to read you shit because you're free to leave at any time by virtue of hanging up the phone. So, no, I don't have to. And I'm not going to either. I'm going to let you admit to the crime, hoping that you think I had to. Yeah, well, I don't have to. Sorry. And I have had, in fact, just this last week, I got a full confession on a felony offense over the phone. And he's a hardened convict. He'd been in and out of prison for years. And he admitted to the felony offense on the phone. I think in his mind, he's thinking, well, he didn't read me Miranda. Yeah, I don't have to. I can't make you stay on the phone. I have no ability to make you stay on the phone. That's on you. And your lawyer's going to tell you the same thing. The lawyer's going to say, why the fuck did you talk? Because I had really no other evidence. that was it. And you just gave me the case. Appreciate that. And it's recorded. And you verified who you were. I first started the conversation. Now, bear that in mind. That's very important. As an officer, if you're talking to someone on the phone, you need to confirm that's who you're talking to. So ask them. And I asked him, is your name so-and-so? Yes, it is. Let me confirm your date of birth. Is your date of birth this? Yes, it is. Okay, well, that's two. I can go with that. And then as the call goes on, he's confirming that, yeah, he owned this vehicle and that was the suspect vehicle and so on and so forth. So pretty confident that I am talking to the right person. But you need to confirm that. So Jones go, oh, is this Ricky? Well, Ricky who? Yeah, I'm Ricky. Turns out to be Ricky the cousin. So verify who you're talking to. Let's say I ask you, hey, can you come down and talk to me downtown? And you're free to leave at any time. And you come in, and I tell you, hey, you can go anytime, dude. I just need to get your statement. Do I need to read your Miranda?
Still, yes.
No.
As for an interview.
But are they free to leave?
Oh, well then, then no.
No, I told them twice.
That's right. Yeah,
you're
no.
free to leave at any
leave,
time. Yeah. If you are free to leave, as in I don't lock the door in the interrogation room, you can walk out any time. I don't have to read your Miranda. You're free to go. Because remember, what was the prongs? Not free to leave.
Right.
And interrogating you about an offense.
Right, yeah.
So I've done that before. Yeah, man, come on down, give me your statement, I'll walk you out. And no matter what, I have to walk them out. I have to be a man of my word. I can't go changing my mind and go, you admitted it, and you're staying. No, I gave you my word. And I think it's important that I be trustworthy. I said you could leave. I'm not going to lie to you. This doesn't mean that I might not have another investigator watching the report and start writing the arrest warrant, and you walk out, or they go across the street, and they walk the warrant, and they get it signed and come back, and after you leave the building, then we arrest you. I let you leave, and that is 100% legal. Under case law, that is 100% legal. I can do that. You were free to go, and I walk out, have a great day, sir, but there's warrants waiting. Oh, hey, sir, come on over here for a second. Yeah, you're under arrest. Okay? Now, I bring an inmate over to talk to me who's already been arrested. Or we catch him on site and I say, hey, bring him down. I want to talk to him. Do I have to read a Miranda?
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. They're not free to go. They're either in custody, been in custody for a week, just got arrested. Doesn't matter. Yo, you absolutely right. I have to. So what I do is I always ask the patrolman, did you question him? Nope. Thank you. I'd rather have a virgin conversation from the start with this person.
Right.
Now, it doesn't mean I'm not going to go back and review their footage and see, did he say something incriminating while they're arresting him? They may have. And I kind of want to have that under my belt and kind of have that tool in my box. Like, yeah, but you said this on the scene. I'll bring you in. Hey, I'm Detective So-and-so. Hey, man, look, before I talk to you, I got to read this. You know how that goes, man. I got to read your rights. You understand that? Yeah, okay. I got to read it, man. Just bear with me. You have the right to remain silent. You understand that? Anything you say can and will be used against the court of law. Do you understand that? You know, you have the right to have an attorney present during any question by a law enforcement officer or attorneys representing the state. Do you understand that? You know, read all these rights and then go, all right, man, do you understand your rights? Yeah, I know my rights. All right, cool, man. Can you just sign there that I read them to you on camera? And most times they will sign, even if they don't plan on talking to you, because when you mention it's on camera, they're like, well, I look like a jackass if I don't sign. Like, clearly I understood my rights. It was kind of a mind game. And then they sign it and be like, all right, man, look, well, here's why we're here today. I got told XYZ. I got to get to the bottom of this. If you didn't do it, this is your time to shine. This is your time to tell me you did or did not do it, or who really did it. Like, and I always give them this warning. Like, are you really gonna go to jail for somebody else if you didn't do it? Like, I love my friends, but I ain't going to jail for any of them. So it's your time to shine. And sometimes, yeah. So I did XYZ, and okay. And I'll tell you, a good interrogation technique is let them talk. Let them talk. Silence is oppressive. And they start feeling the urge to unburden themselves because you're just sitting there staring at them. And they go, oh, and they want to fill the silence. Let them talk. But I've had others listen to me very respectfully and say, sorry, I don't want to talk to you. Okay. All right, well, hey, I had to try.
Yeah.
I appreciate you being here, man. You know, hey, it is what it is. You do you. Good luck. Take care. I've had it where we book him into the jail, and then 3 hours later, the jail is calling me going, he wants to talk to you now. Really? Okay, we'll bring him back across the street. But I had to reread him Miranda. Now, do I have to reread him Miranda? No, I don't. It's good for 10 days. But good policy and practice is to reread it again on camera.
Right.
Just so we can cover those bases, even though, yes, each video is time-stamped. And the last one was just 3 hours prior. His rights are good for 10 days. The Miranda warning is good for 10 days. When I say that, let me specify. Because people are like, oh, it's good forever. Yeah, you have the rights. But if I read you Miranda warning, and then 9 days later I go to question you, by Miranda, I don't have to reread you Miranda. It was good for 10 days. But good policy and practice is reread it. Just cover your bases and reread it.
Right.
Okay, so I do. I'll reread. All right, man. Just like last time, you get a whole new Miranda sheet. Got to read these again. Read them again. Do you still understand your rights? Yeah, okay, go and sign right there. Okay, sir, I did XYZ or blah, blah, blah. And then I just go, you know what, sir, I don't want to talk to you. Okay. I'm telling you right now, the third time, I am not falling for that. Nope. Tell him no. Or maybe I'll just go over there real fast on camera. You going to talk to me or not? Because I'm not going to go back and forth with you. Are you just trying to get out of the jail, get across the street, get some fresh air? Negative. Negative. Now, I did have a guy go, tell you what, sir, if you give me a cigarette, I'll talk to you. Okay, that's worth it. Take them outside. Obviously, I have other officers with me. I'm not by myself. Put their cups in the front. Here's a cigarette. All right, man. I was a man of my word. You man of yours? Now, can I force him to talk? No. I can't force him to talk to me. But if you make a deal, and even criminals understand a deal. Criminals even understand a give and a take. Like, hey, man, all right, you got your cigarette. I was a man of my word. Now, you going to be a man of yours? Okay, sir, let me tell you what happened. Okay, what happened? And then they start telling you the story. Sometimes that works. When I had one, he's like, no, I just wanted the cigarette. Okay, but you burned that bridge with me. I'll never believe you again. I'm not going to fall for it again. I don't want to ever talk to you again. Take them back. Come them back. Go. Bye. You know what? I tried. I was a man of my word, and you're not a man of yours. And that's cool that you're not a man of your word, but I'm a man of mine, and I can sleep at night knowing I'm a man of my word. So, sorry. Have a nice day. You know? So, those are things to consider.
Yeah.
How far do you want to go with this? What's the level of the offense? What is the amount of evidence you already do have? I mean, I love evidence plus confession. Obviously, that's the best. It's evidence plus a confession. But sometimes you just have enough evidence. You got a video of them shooting the guy in the back of the head and looks right at the camera and then tries to claim self-defense later. Really, he's on his knees and he shot him from the back of the head and looked right up at the camera. That's you, right? I don't really need your confession. I kind of have it on camera. You know what I mean? Phones. I download phones routinely. Download phones. All I do is I either get consent from you or I just get a warrant. It's no skin off my ass. Our electronics crimes unit can pull that phone in about a day and get all the data right off it with a warrant. So what I'll do is I'll just take your phone from you. Well, I'm going to take your phone, put it in airplane mode. Okay, officers and investigators listening to me, do not turn off the damn phone. Do not, under any circumstances, turn off the phone. Put it in airplane mode. And I'll explain why. Oh my God, I see officers do this and I'm about to have a stroke. Apple, if you shut the iPhone off, when you turn it back on, that fucker's locked. You're not going to get much out of it. If you haven't turned the phone off, they can plug it in and probably still bypass the lock and get the information out of it. But if you shut it off, you locked it. Good luck. So do not turn off the phone. In fact, that's why I had a multi-charger, different style chargers. And I'll plug it in my office. I'll put it in airplane mode and plug that fucker in so it does not die on me. Am I going through it? Absolutely not. I don't have a warrant or consent. I'm not going to go through it, but I am going to lock it and I am going to charge it so it doesn't die on me. And then, because a lot of guys just throw it in the evidence room. Well, it's dead.
Yeah.
Now, if you got the code to it, well, then you could do that. You can now. You got the code to the phone. But if you don't have the code to the phone, do not do that. So what I've done is, hey, can I call my mom? Yeah, sure. Slide the phone and watch them put the password in. Now, again, I'm not going to go to that phone without consent or warrant, but I have the password for electronics crimes folks.
Right.
So I will watch them put in the password. I'm like, oh, there it is. Now, I said he could call his mom. I'm being a man of my word. Yeah, go ahead, man. You know what they're going to say to mom.
Yep.
So let them talk. They're on camera. But I watched them put in the password. I do have the password now. So like, yeah, man, go ahead. And I'll watch. Okay, I got the password. And I'll subtly just kind of write it down. I'm like, write that password down. All right, man, go ahead. Hey, mom. Yeah, they arrested me. Yeah, they caught me. Yeah, they saw me doing X, Y, Z. Like, hey, that's as good as a confession to me. And I tell them, put it on speaker, though. I want to hear both sides of the conversation. If you don't put it on speaker, the deal's off. And so, that way I can hear mom go, I told you not to do that. Thank you very much. Which means foreknowledge of the event,
Right.
which means premeditation, which means what? Intent.
Yeah.
Intentionally, knowingly. You intentionally meant to do this. You told somebody you were going to do it. That person said, don't do this. You did it anyway. Slam dunk whoosh, for the score. Nothing but net from half court. So there's games you can play that are 100% legal. And you can play them. What I do is when I get that password, when I take the phone from them, I just make sure that was the correct password. Okay, good. And then I lock it. And then I put are you going to my phone? I'm not going through your phone. I'm just making sure the password was correct. All right, sir, will you give me consent to go through your phone? Fuck you. Okay, well, I'll get a warrant. That's fine. Well, am I still free to go? Oh, yeah, right now you're still free to go, but this is staying with me. Well, I'll just erase it. You won't be able to. Good luck, though. And then my next step is I'm not going to get a warrant for the phone. I'm going to get a warrant for their iCloud account. And I'm going to get a warrant from one of the three carriers, AT&T, T-Mobile, Verizon. I'm going to get a warrant from them, too. And I'm going to match all the data together. And we have programs where you can dump all the data in, and it will go through all the data for you. And I can look at a specific day, keywords in text messages, whatever I want to. We have programs that will do that for you. As long as you do it by warrant, you're good to go. And that means anything found in this phone is now admissible. Anything. I might find other crimes, and we have. When you start going through a phone and start finding child pornography, CSAM, child sexual assault material. There's you are, you're a felon. There you are holding a gun last week on Instagram. That's a crime. You can't be in possession of a firearm.
Yep.
Now those are a little harder because you can say, oh, that was an old picture.
Yeah.
That was before I was convicted. But there's metadata in every picture taken. It'll say what device took the picture and when.
Right.
Not photocopied, not screenshotted, actually taken by the device. So there's all sorts of crap you can do. All of it's legal, 100% legal. The only time I can emergency break a phone without a warrant is exigent circumstances. And that's typically going to be a real narrow set of circumstances like a kidnapping where you believe that person is in serious danger right now. I don't have time to get a warrant. That's exigent, and yes, I can.
Yeah.
What that means is I can use the phone for that crime right now. I can't go through it for everything else. I can only go through it trying to find information on the kidnapping where that person is in danger right this minute.
Right.
Now, let's say they call, go, hey, we found the body. Can I continue to go through the phone now? No, because the exigency is over.
Yeah.
Person's dead. Now we had to revert to their rights and get a warrant to go through the phone.
Yep.
So there are a lot of rules to phones, and that includes computers, iPads, iWatches, Google phone, anything electronic. They have the right to. The Burla in the car, the infotainment system is a cell phone. That's what it is. It's a smartphone in your car. I can't just start going through it without either your consent or a warrant. But once I get the warrant, then I can pull it right. I take the dash apart, pull the Burla unit out. It's about that big. Maybe it looks like a hard drive. It's exactly what it is. It's a hard drive. And then I take it back to my office, and someone who's Burla qualified, because I'm not Burla certified. I know how it works, but I'm not Burla certified. They do it for me, and they give me all the data. And it comes out to like 60, 70 pages of PDF.
So that is something that's different. That's not covered under the Carroll Doctrine. Just because it's in the car
Correct.
doesn't mean
Correct.
you can search
That
the car
is
in the
not
car.
considered part of the Carroll Doctrine. You're absolutely right, and thank you for bringing that up. Electronics are not covered under Carroll in the car. They're not. So if you want to go through the infotainment system, which is the Burla, or the CDR, which is the crash data report, you have to have a warrant or consent. And it's best to get a warrant. Just get a warrant. Because consent can be pulled anytime. Just get a warrant, then they can't pull consent. No, I'll just get a warrant. If you already have the offense and you have probable cause, why not just write a warrant? It takes all of 10 minutes to write the damn warrant. And then you just go get it signed by a judge, and then you have every legal right to go through it. And they can call, scream, and holler all they want to. You got a warrant. But consent, so let's discuss consent. Let's discuss search and seizure. Fourth Amendment. Okay? I pull you over. Man, I'm mad. You were just a suspect. I pull you over all the time. Don't take that personal.
Just those poor driving skills.
Yeah, some poor driving skills, man. But there's always something else going
I
on.
watch other drivers on the road, and I just imitate them.
That's right. You're blending in.
I pretend I'm a BMW driver.
Yeah.
That's it.
So I pull you over, and I ask, "Can I search your car?" And you say, "Yeah, you can." I don't have to tell you that you can tell me to stop anytime you want me to. I don't have to tell you that, but I'm aware of it. So if they're giving me consent to search, I start searching the car. I've not yet found contraband. And that person says, stop. Do I have to stop?
Yes.
Immediately, you have to stop. Let's say I found contraband already. I found narcotics. Or I know he's a felon and I found a gun. Now do I have to stop?
No.
Nope. I already found it. Sorry.
Wait.
Too late. Put your hands behind your back. I already found it. Dumbass. If you're going to do a consent search and you're by yourself, you probably shouldn't have the guy standing right behind you while you're doing it. So what's another option?
Have him sit on the curb.
Okay. Do they need to be within hearing distance?
Yes.
They need to be within hearing distance. Here's another way, and here's the way I did it when I was working highway narcotics. I'd be in the middle of nowhere. I'd put them in my Tahoe, but I'd roll down that back window and I'd pull the Tahoe up next to me so I can hear them while I'm searching the car. Now I've covered the laws. Are they detained? Yeah, every traffic stop is a detainment. That's what a traffic stop is. You're detained automatically by virtue of the lights going on. You're detained.
Yep.
You're not free to leave. That's how I can charge you with evading if you drive off. You weren't free to go when the lights came on. And everybody understands that. So I can put them in the car. May not be in handcuffs, but I have to roll the window down. I have to have a way to hear them. I've seen officers throw them in a car with the windows up and they go off and search the car. You can't do that. If he's in the back seat screaming, "Stop searching my car, I don't consent, I withdraw consent," they're going to match the time code up to when he told you that versus what you found in the car and when you found it.
Yeah.
And those timestamps will get you.
Yep.
Nah, 5 minutes before you found the contraband, he was screaming at you to stop from the back seat. Well, I didn't hear him. Exactly. You didn't hear him. He had the right to withdraw consent, and you didn't give him the ability to give you that withdrawal.
Right.
Sorry. Another way to do it could be just call another unit. Hey, I'm going to do a consent search. If he tells you to tell me to stop, hey, let me know. Do we hate that? Well, of course. But the law says we have to, so you don't have a choice. So you're showing you're being reasonable, conscientious, and you're a knowledgeable officer.
Yeah.
and you do your job correctly. You do that, defense lawyers have nothing to say. If the other officer distracts him and he forgets to withdraw consent, nothing wrong with that at all. They're just having a conversation. Hey man, how you doing? Oh, you're a Rams fan? No kidding. Hey, they're looking pretty good this year. And the guy totally forgets to give the other officer to stop searching his car. That's 100% legal. 100% legal. Okay? But if you find contraband, he no longer has the right to stop you under Carroll. You found it. Yeah, sorry, I found it, dude. It is what it is. So I would ask them though, do I have the right to look at the trunk too? Because trunk's different. That's not plain view. That's in the trunk. So I'd ask him, hey, do you mind if I check the glove compartment, center console, and the trunk too? What did I just cover? The 3 areas that are not in plain view. So, hey man, can I look in the glove box, center console, and the trunk? Yeah, go ahead. Okay, well, you just gave me consent to do that.
Yeah.
But if he withdraws it, well, you can look in the front, but not the trunk. Is that okay? Can you do that?
Yeah.
Can he limit the search?
He can.
He can limit the search. He can 100% limit the search. So that's why you do this the smart way, so you cover your bases. So you got to hope you find the contraband before he withdraws the consent.
Yeah.
And if you don't, you're like, motherfucker, I know it's in here. Now, if I have probable cause to believe it's in there, okay, well, I'm going to get a warrant done.
Right.
I'm going to tow the car, and I'm going to get a warrant, and I'm going to search this car. Okay? You have enough probable cause to write that warrant. You write the warrant, it gets signed, then you come back, you take the car to the tow yard, or you do it right on the side of the road, depending on where you're at and what the situation is, and like, yeah, now open this trunk. Now open it. Great. Oh, there's the Coke. Got it. That's how you do this correctly, and that's how you do it legally. And interdiction is where I really started learning all this. I mean, I already knew search and seizure, but we really fine-tuned it in highway interdiction. What are the legal limits? What are your legal limits? What are their legal rights? What are your legal rights? How do you do this legally to keep yourself from getting in trouble and getting the whole case thrown out because you mistake a law, mistake a fact, or negligence? Which one was it? Did you not know the law? Did you know the law and fail to follow it, or was it just negligence on your part? And which one is it? Either way, any of the 3 can kill a case. Now, there's a mistake of law, there's a mistake of fact, and there's negligence. Negligence is going to be intentional.
Right.
And on your part as the officer, like, nah, I rolled the windows. Yeah, it's hot, so I just let them in the AC. No, you have to give them a way to stop you. So there's a bunch of rules to this. Now, there's a difference between a Terry search, a pat down for weapons, and a actual search. A weapons pat down is not a search.
Yeah.
I'm just the areas where you'd have a weapon that could hurt me, and that's all that is. Hey man, I'm just gonna check your waistband, check your pockets, and I'm just gonna squeeze your boots, to make sure you don't have a weapon in a holster or anything like that. I'm just making sure you don't have a weapon. That's it. I can't continue searching them. Well, what's in your pockets? No, I can't do that. Hey, I feel something in there. It's soft. What is that? It could be a million things. But is it an object that can hurt you? Do you recognize by the feeling it's a knife or a gun? No, you don't. So why would you keep searching?
Right.
Now, if you place them into arrest, so let's talk about those rights. I could do a 9-hour podcast on just rights, and that a lot of officers don't understand this shit. And you need to know it. You don't have a choice. You're a police officer. You can't get a stand and go, I wasn't taught that. You're wearing a badge. You were taught that. Now, whether you paid attention or not is a whole different story. Yeah, I knew enough just to pass the test. Yeah, but you actually need to know this shit.
Hey, that's truth though.
That's truth. And that's truth. By the end of the academy, you just want to graduate so bad. You just like, whatever, just to pass. But you need to have an actual understanding of search and seizure.
Yeah.
Fourth Amendment, Fifth Amendment, Sixth Amendment, Eighth Amendment. You need to have a real good understanding of these amendments. So, and primarily as officers, 4th, 5th, 6th, and 8th. Those are your big ones.
Right.
And 14th kind of comes into play, but really it's 4th, 5th, 6th, and 8th. Those are your big ones. Well, First Amendment, you just have the right to say whatever the hell you want within reason. You can't obviously threaten people or anything like that, but you have the right to go, you're a pig. Okay, it's your First Amendment right to say that, dude. Yep, oink, oink, whatever. Now, I must be tired. What was I going to talk about?
You're going to talk about rights when it involves someone being handcuffed.
Oh, okay. So, let's say I pull you over on a traffic stop.
Mm-hmm.
I run your information, says you have a warrant. Now, it's not a warrant from my county, so I need to have it confirmed through that county that they want him. My warrants, it'll say on there, yeah, we want him, whatever. That's an automatic, hey man, you're under arrest. Cuff them, and then you search them, incident to arrest. Wholly legal. You got a verified warrant from your county. But let's say it's an out-of-county warrant. Let's say you're in Corpus Christi and the warrant is out of Dallas. and it says surrounding counties only.
Yeah.
Now you still need to confirm it and make sure that that's still the same. They haven't changed that. But can you search the person?
No.
Because you have not confirmed they're under arrest. They're just detained. So what can you do for safety?
It's just a frisk.
It's just a frisk for a weapon. That's all it is. Hey, sir, look, I got to get this warrant confirmed. You are detained. I'm not going to search you, but I do have to make sure you don't have a weapon on you. That I can do. And you search, okay, you don't got a weapon? Cool. All right, man, go ahead and have a seat right here. And you put him in your Tahoe or you sit him on the curb, whatever you choose to do. If they come back and say, hey, warrant's not confirmed, they don't want him. If you have no on-site arrest, unhook him. All right, sir, you have a great day. All right, hey, but so you got that warrant, I'd stay out of Dallas. I'd stay south of Austin. Don't go to Dallas. Now, same scenario, but dispatch calls you back and says warrant's confirmed. Now what should you do?
A search because now the arrest is custodial.
Search incident to arrest.
Yeah.
Now you can search them because now you're taking them into actual custody.
Yeah.
So now you can search them thoroughly, and you should, and you better.
Yeah.
But so there is rules to when you can and cannot search. There are rules to it. And officers will be like, oh, he's got a warrant, so let's search him. I'm like, it's a whole nother county. Did you confirm it yet? No. Then why are you searching him? If they don't want him, he's free to go.
Yeah.
And we don't have the right to search him. We can just make sure he doesn't have a weapon. That's it, guys. And they're like, really? I'm like, are you fucking serious? You didn't pay attention to any of these case laws that I taught you when you went to the academy. Yeah, that's annoying. But a lot of it is there's so much out there, and you're trying to funnel that into one person in a short amount of time.
Yeah.
6 to 7 months. The average academy time is 6 to 7 months. Like DPS is 7 months long. Yeah. Austin PD is 6.5 months. I mean, you're trying to shoehorn all this knowledge in, and it's 777 hours minimum for a Texas peace officer license. In reality, there's probably 3,000 hours they need. Mm-hmm. And that's just realities. Funding, time, Manning's got to get on the street, and you got to hope your trainers train them correctly and give them the knowledge. There's just so much. But we rely on you as an officer to maintain your continuing education. Start reading your own case laws. Start looking them up. And you can go online and you can look at case laws by topic. Search and seizure, Miranda, traffic stops, DWI, whatever. You can read them, and it'll give you all the case laws for that particular topic.
Yep.
What's wrong with reading? You don't got to read the entire 300-page, case law, but read the actual what happened, and these were decisions by the judges.
And the briefs, legal briefs aren't even really that long.
They're not.
The longest one I think I've ever read was like 40-some pages. And
that's pretty damn long.
And if you graduated high school and at least went to college, even if it's for a semester, you've read more than 40 pages.
Yeah, so just read it.
so just even in high school, you've read books longer than 40 pages.
Yeah, so let's say you become a DWI officer, like I was. You should probably read the case laws in your circuit or Supreme Court that deals with how you must do it. Oh, you can't do this. This you can do. Oh, this has been thrown out in Fifth Circuit saying don't do this. You should probably know that. And if you ever get on the stand and the attorney asks you, do you know that case law? And you say no, and they're going to go, why not? Aren't you a DWI officer? Isn't that your job? How come you didn't look it up? Do you not have the internet? You look like a fucking idiot to the jury, and that's what he's trying to do. He's trying to make you look like a moron.
And the defense attorneys understand that most patrol officers really are not exposed to like a lot of case law.
And they're not going to bother going to look.
Except for what's in the academy.
They figure, hey, I got my license. I'm squared away. I'm good to go. No, that's a basic peace officer license. You need to actually do your own research and learn your job. Become a master of your trade. That's the trade you've chosen. You probably shouldn't half-ass it. Do your job. Mm-hmm. Okay, now the day you decide to retire, then you don't got to learn another damn thing. Like, I'm retired. Fuck you. I'll grow my hair out long and smoke weed. I earned it. But until that day comes, you still wear that badge. It behooves you to learn your job and learn your trade because this is the job you chose. No one drafted you into law enforcement. You chose to go to law enforcement when you could have resigned at any time.
Yeah.
So you chose to stay? Well, then you should probably learn your job. And this is what I try to get across to people. Like, you need to know your job. Your freedom could depend on it. Your livelihood, your paycheck could depend on you knowing your job. And juries don't want to hear, well, I didn't look it up because X, Y, Z. They don't want to hear that. Okay, so you want to convince a jury that you are knowledgeable, that you took every best effort to learn this, to get this knowledge, to get this training, whatever it is, you got the training. And training's another big one. your training records do come into play. They'll bring your training records out and go, who taught you this? Oh, I went through the TEACS 40-hour radar instructor course where I was actually taught at the instructor level of how this system works and da 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 da. So you're showing you have a higher level of expertise than a regular user, but that training certificate comes into play, and they pull all your records from TEACS and go, well, he was, yeah, he went to the course, or you said you're a radar instructor, but we find no evidence you ever went through any kind of training. Oh, well, it's because the guy who taught me was used to be an instructor, so he just gave me the knowledge. Nah, it doesn't quite work that way. You need certified training from an actual instructor who's been certified himself.
Yeah.
So that can actually come to hurt you as well.
Yeah.
But there is no, I mean, yeah, there are seminars you can do on case laws and use of force case laws or pursuit case laws or whatever. There are seminars, and I encourage you to take them. It might be an online webinar, could be an online training, but you can point to it in your record and say, I did attend this training. And if it's any kind of law enforcement course, you're going to have some kind of test at the end to prove you at least watched it.
Yeah.
And that's usually a requirement for any kind of training. Is there some sort of way to gauge the test? Either it's a written test, it's a physical test that you do with the instructor. There's something that proves you took the training.
Yeah.
Just like taser. Just getting tased isn't enough. You actually have to do the slideshow where you learn the legal limits to a taser, how it works, when you're allowed to use it, when you're not allowed to use it, what your agency policies say,
Yep.
what does the manufacturer say, what does case law say,
Yep.
and then you take a written test, and then it's okay, go forth and, don't tase someone standing in the water, don't tase someone standing on an elevated surface, don't tase someone near a pool. There are limits to this.
All right.
So the test proves that, hey, they got the training. Now, what they did with it, that's on them. We trained them. And that's their agency also covering their ass. That's what it is. Your agency going, no, we did train them.
Yeah.
So then it comes around to qualified immunity. And the agency goes, no, we trained them, and that's not how we trained them. You might lose that qualified immunity because you did not do it under the way you were trained by your agency. And they'd be like, ooh, we're not paying this lawsuit because that's not how we trained him.
Yep.
We trained him here. Here's his training records. Here's the test he took. Because everything you do is kept when you're trained. It's all saved. Believe it or not, it's all saved at your academy. Somewhere they have those files. And believe me, they will come out to haunt you if you did the wrong thing.
Yeah.
But then come out to save your ass if you do the right thing. Go, that's how I was trained by my agency. Now the agency has to answer for that. Yeah, that's how we trained him. That's not on the officer now. That's on the agency now. Like, well, whoops. That was incorrect. Or you didn't update it after the case law changed.
Right.
That's why every agency, at least the big ones, have an officer or deputy or a trooper if it's state police, that their job is to stay up on top of case laws and adjust policy as necessary and go, hey, chief, sheriff, director, whatever, we had a new change to case law. We need to change our policy because it has to match case law at least minimum.
Right.
Oh, shit. Okay, let's write a new policy. Per new case law, da-da-da-da. And they'll put it out, once it's signed and reviewed and the legal's reviewed and all that. And then it goes out to everybody going, hey, I want to read this. New change.
Yep.
And you're like, yeah, I saw it, but he emailed it to me, but I didn't read it. Well, that's the wrong answer. That's why we have that system where you actually have to log in, read it, and say, I attest I've read this document. And then they'll save that. Like, yeah, you were shown. You signed it at December 23rd at 2015 hours or whatever. Oops. Does someone break into your account? You lose your qualified immunity because the agency put it out and you didn't heed it. But if the agency never updated it and never gave it to you and you're still going off training records that you were trained, that's on the agency now, and you get the qualified immunity because the agency trained you that way and they said, do it this way. Okay, I'll do it this way. So policy and law.
Yep.
Policy can be stricter than law. It cannot be less strict than the law.
Right.
It cannot override law. You can just make it stricter. So let's talk just pursuits. The state of Texas says if there was any kind of offense from Class C to capital, you may pursue in a vehicle.
Yep.
Most agencies say, you're only going to pursue for this, 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 and this. That's it. That's the only reason. That's the only time we're going to authorize a pursuit is for these reasons. And some agencies go, you ain't pursuing over shit.
Yeah.
Don't do it. End of story. So state law may save you because legally, yeah, you can chase them under state law and case law and circuit court ruling, but your agency policy says, oh, hell no. And then it goes to trial, and the lawyer, his defense lawyer, gets in and tells the jury, well, under the policy of that agency, they're not authorized any pursuits no matter what. So he violated his agency's policy and training. And so, yeah, you won't be criminally charged because state law says you can. but you could be fired because you did not follow the policy of your agency. So bear that in mind, guys. State law may say a million things. What does your agency policy say? And for those of you who are job hunting in law enforcement, if you find an agency that doesn't have any written policies, run from that agency. Do not go to that agency, because all that chief or sheriff has to go is, nah, it's whatever I decide. And he doesn't like you, and that day he decided he didn't like you. Nah, I don't feel like you did the right thing, you're fired. You want to go to an agency that actually takes a policy system very seriously and has policies for everything. Now, policy can't cover every single situation. Policy is a guide, not a Bible. Now, some admins will use it as a Bible when they want to, and a guide when they don't want to. But it's still got to be written down. So you're going to have an agency policy on traffic enforcement, agency policy on use of force, an agency policy on firearms training, agency policy on uniform wear, agency policy on, they're going to have all these different policies. And those are what you have to follow. And state law, of course, and case law. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, it's state law and policy. Those are your two that you really need to, and you should revert to your training that should mirror policy and law. Yeah. Sounds great in theory, kind of like communism. Looks great on paper, but don't really work in public. But that's how it's supposed to work. Training and state law, policy. But I digress. So I thought it was important today to discuss that and go really, really in-depth on that, because a lot of officers do not understand these concepts. And it's sad that I have to say that, but they don't understand these concepts. And I think that is so incredibly dangerous. That how can you do this job and not understand something as simple as search and seizure and how it works, when that is 90% of what you do as a police officer is Fourth Amendment. Mm-hmm. Search and seizure. That's 90% of your job. Fifth Amendment, Sixth Amendment, Eighth Amendment are the other 10%. But Fourth Amendment, a traffic stop is a search and seizure. An arrest is a search and seizure. These are all Fourth Amendment. I'm not going to get into warrants because that's more for investigators. But for you as patrol officers, and most agencies, patrol officers don't write warrants. Yeah. There are some that do. But by and large, it's going to be investigators or narcotics officers that do that. Know your search and seizure. Know your policy. Know case law. Know what your limits are, when you got to stop, when you can push. And I barely brushed it. This is honestly, search and seizure is an 8-hour seminar or an 8-hour training where they go really in depth. And it would behoove every officer to look up on either OSS or TEEX or whatever, if you're in another state, whatever they have, is see if they have an actual seminar on search and seizure and how these work, how Miranda works. If you got to pay $50, write it off, but take it. Yeah. Give yourself that extra leg up on, I can do that, and here's how I know I can do that, and I put it in my report. I did it because XYZ. Case law says this and this. State law says this and this. Da, da, da. And you covered your ass top to bottom. That defense lawyer is like, shit, he's right. I can't get him on that one. Mm-hmm. And if you write it in the report, you don't have to speak off the top of your head on the stand. You can ask for a copy of your report and read it and go, that's right. It was this case law that allowed me to do that. Case law, Fifth Circuit Court, yak, says I can do XYZ. There ain't nothing wrong with that.
That's true, yeah.
It'll save your ass before it'll ever burn you. But the less you write, the old saying, the less you write, the less it can fuck you. No, it's the opposite. The less you write, the more it can fuck you. Mm-hmm. Because it leaves too much open to interpretation by lawyers. If you're detailed as hell and you're copy and pasting the actual penal code and the elements of the offense, and that's what you're accusing him of, and you write in your report how he broke each one of those elements, you got him. Yeah. But you have to justify every step you take in that report. From the time you observe the actual violation, to the traffic stop itself, to why you detained him, to why you charged him, and what you saw, heard, smelled, felt, all that shit. If you can back all that up with, hey, this element of the offense, like DWI, just simple. Operating a motor vehicle on a public roadway in whatever county you're in while intoxicated. That's your 4 elements to the offense of DWI. You take away those elements, you don't have a DWI. So you have to put in your report, was he on a public roadway? Was he operating a motor vehicle? Was he impaired? And let's see, what was it? And whatever county you're in. Yeah. Of the 254 counties in the state of Texas, whatever county you're in, that meets your elements of the offense. And then you go into why you believe him to be impaired based on SOSTs, what you smell when you first make contact, so on and so forth. There's a lot more to it. We've talked about DWI before. But that's how that works. And as long as you can justify it and put all that detail in your report, you'll be just fine. And you can confidently testify in court because you wrote it down. If you don't write it down, good luck trying to speak on it off the top of your head a year and a half, 2 years later. Mm-hmm. You're going to forget shit. Yeah. Or you're going to mix it up with other cases like wait, or that happened with that case. That's a bad sign right there when you got to start doing that. Juries are like, what? Even though we're all human. The defense attorneys will be like, he doesn't even remember the case. You expect the jury to believe
It's all
that,
3 years ago.
that you remember that? Like, but if you wrote it down, yes, let me read my report. Page 3, paragraph 4, I did say that. And he said XYZ. Oh. What he's hoping is that you won't ask for a copy of the report and you'll just say something stupid at the top of your head. Ask for the copy of the report, which they're going to give you when you ask for it.
Yeah.
So whenever I get on the stand, I'm like, may I see a copy of my report? And they'll hold up the report. Your Honor, we'd like to give this report to the officer, and they'll show it to the prosecutor or the defense attorney. Are you okay with that? Yep, I'm okay with it. Because it's been stamped as evidence that has been seen by both sides. Give me 1 minute. Yes, sir. Page 3, paragraph 4. But now you have the report for the rest of the trial. Mm-hmm. And you're good.
Yep.
You can have it. And then you just give it back at the end. Obviously, don't take it home. You give it back to the prosecutor or the defense attorney, whatever, because he's going to have a copy of it too. So that's, in a nutshell. Oh, Garrity. No, let's discuss Garrity.
Oh, yeah.
That's important. Okay. Garrity is different. And Garrity applies to police officers and internal affairs. That's where Garrity versus New Jersey comes into play. Internal affairs, if you are accused of a policy violation, you have no choice but to talk to them. You don't have a choice. So Garrity says because it is a condition of your employment that you are required to talk, it cannot be used against you criminally.
Yeah.
That's what that means. So let's say as a police officer, you got accused of aggravated assault by a peace officer.
Right.
You're accused of that. You shot at somebody as they're running away that was not presenting a threat to anybody. Their hands are free and they're just running. You pop a few rounds off at them. That's aggravated assault by a peace officer. Right? That's what it is. And they can charge you with that. So let's say, well, now you have a policy violation and you have a criminal violation. Internal Affairs handles policy. That's it. They don't handle criminal. PIU or PAU or whatever unit that handles officers criminally handles the criminal side of it. There is a firewall between internal affairs and everybody else. Nothing you share internal affairs can be turned over to the investigators for the criminal side of it. They cannot share it because you had no choice but to talk as a condition of your employment. That's your Garrity protection. Understand that almost every agency I've ever heard of has the same rules. They'll go in and say, if you refuse to cooperate today, you are fired.
Yep.
And so you're like, shit, I don't want to lose my job. I might just get put on admin duty while they're doing this whole thing. At least I'll have a paycheck. But if I refuse to talk, I'm fired right here and now, and I can't pay the bills. So, okay. And then you sign it going, I understand my Garrity protection. And you'll get a Garrity protection. You signed your Garrity protection. Understand, I have no choice but to give this statement. But it cannot be shared. So you could admit to that offense to internal affairs. Yeah, I shot at him. He was an asshole. I figured I could just rid the world of him because he's always a pain in the ass. So I fired a few rounds off at him. You're probably going to be terminated for the policy violation, but nothing you shared there can be shared with the criminal investigators on the criminal side of the house. So that is Garrity versus New Jersey officers. You have no choice. Now, let's say you are called in by the criminal investigators because you're a suspect in a criminal offense. I want to say this and be very clever and clear when I say it. You have the same fucking rights as everybody else. Shut the fuck up. Don't talk.
Or just get a lawyer.
Get a lawyer and let him do your talking for you. And I've seen too many officers, like, they don't have a choice. Hey, you got to talk. You don't have a choice. And they may or may not fire you for the policy violation of aggravated assault deadly weapon by peace officer because it's probably in your policy. You may not shoot at someone running away. That is not a threat.
Right.
Well, you're fired for that policy violation. But that usually takes some time to perk through the system. You can at least maybe pay the bills for another month or two. Criminal, they'll get over there and think, I got to talk here too, and they'll tell them everything. No, you don't. You have the same rights criminally as anybody else. Hey, I don't want to talk to that lawyer. And then you call CLEAT, TMPA, or if you have a private attorney, whatever, and go, and don't lie to your lawyer. Tell your lawyer the whole truth. They need to know what happened. You cannot paint yourself in a really good light right now. That's not the job. They're not going to judge you. They need to know what happened because they can best defend you and the decision you made or how to phrase it that you can't phrase it right because you're emotionally connected to it and you wig out and say something stupid. And the lawyer could calmly go, this is what happened. This is why he did it.
Yeah.
That's his or her job. But you go in there on your own and go, I'm a cop. I know how this game works. It's different when you're on the other side of the table. So shut the fuck up. And they can't be mad at you for invoking a right. You have the absolute right. They cannot infer any guilt because you invoked a right.
Yep.
They're not legally allowed to, and they can't even mention that you refused to talk to him, therefore you must be guilty. They can put in their report, we asked him questions and he invoked his Fifth Amendment right, but they cannot infer guilt from that. You have the right to shut the fuck up. So, officers, shut the fuck up. Stop talking in criminal. IA, you don't got a choice. Criminal, shut the fuck up. Don't speak. Stop talking. Be polite. Don't be an ass. But say, hey, I'm not speaking without a lawyer present. Let me get some counsel. And then you'll sit with the lawyer and go, yeah, I did this. It was really stupid, but here's why I did what I did. Here's what I saw, XYZ. Don't lie to your lawyer. They get really irritated when they're trying to defend you and they're believing what you told them. And then they show them a video and there's you doing it and it's nothing what you told the lawyer. And he's like, now the lawyer looks like an ass. They don't like that. You look like an ass to your lawyer now, which means everything you now tell him, he's doubting now. So shut the fuck up with the investigators, but be completely 100% honest with your lawyer.
Yeah.
He has attorney-client privilege. He cannot share what you tell him, no matter what it is. You could admit to having diddled 10 kids and shot the president. He cannot divulge what you told him. So tell him the truth. They're not going to judge you. Their job is to represent you. So be honest and tell them exactly what happened. Don't lie to your lawyer, kiddos. Don't do that. You could face a much bigger problem when you do that too.
Yeah.
Be honest with your lawyer. Have credibility with your lawyer. Like, yeah, I fucked up. I did X, Y, Z. I fucked up. I lost my temper, and I let my emotions get the best of me. My ego kind of got the best of me. He'll understand that, and then he can start framing. Okay, this is what really happened.
Right.
So I don't want to foot stomp that one too much, but I've seen too many officers just go in. I'm a cop. I know how to handle detectives. You don't. You don't, because it's you, and you can't be emotionally separated from it, and you're going to say something stupid, or you feel, I have a choice, I'm a cop, I got to talk. No, you're not testifying on behalf of a crime you witnessed someone else do where you have no choice because you're a police officer. It's you as the suspect, so shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
And you'll have lawyers go, or you'll have detectives go, come on, man, you got to talk to us. No, you don't. No, you don't. So I have investigated officers before. And I just don't play those games with them. I just flat out refuse to play those games with them. I'm on camera. You look like an asshole. Just, hey, man, you want to talk to me, that lawyer present? Yes or no? And if they go, no, I don't want to. Okay. All right, cool. You want to hear your phone? You want to call Cleat or TMPA? Like, you want to give them a call and get them down here? Like, what do you want to do, man? I'm not going to play those games. But that's just me.
Yeah.
I just don't think they're necessary. But are they legal? Yeah. Should you do it? Not a good look. You know what I mean? You want to look fair.
Right.
I'm giving every fair possible benefit of the doubt to this person, suspect. But at the end of the day, if they're still a suspect, you have to investigate it and do your job.
Right.
They made the choice to do whatever it was they did. Hey, it is what it is. The days of us covering other officers, hell no, long over. And it should be long over. We're held to the higher standard. We're police officers. That's it. But you have rights, and don't forget that. So I didn't want to do a 4-hour episode, even though this could easily be 8 hours and just topic by topic. But I think we gave a much better understanding to anybody who's listening to this that's going through an academy or maybe needed a refresher on search and seizure and Miranda and how it works. If you have further questions, you can, of course, email us at runningcode@gmail.com. Runningcode 2023, sorry.
Yeah.
RUNNINCODE 2023@gmail.com. Runningcode2023@gmail.com. Obviously, you can leave comments on YouTube, but if you do that, that's in the public forum. We can talk about your name because you put it in the public forum. But if you email us and you don't want us to divulge your name or agency you work for, either don't tell us who you work for, or just say, please don't divulge my information, and we won't divulge your information. We're not going to do that to somebody who emails us privately. But if you put it on YouTube, well, that's a public comment. You're the dumbass who put it out there publicly. So say something stupid, well, it is what it is. But if you disagree with something we said, or you find something that we said was wrong, hey, by all means, tell us. Stuff changes.
Yeah.
Tell me. I have no problem coming back on the next episode and going, hey, we got bad information. This is actually this and this. I have no problem with that. So, brothers and sisters, besides being safe, you got to know your job. You got to know your responsibilities, your legal limits, all that to be an effective officer of the law.
Yep.
And to be a trusted one. And one who thought of with integrity and does the right thing. Because you want that reputation. Hey, that's the officer that always does the right thing. We never got to worry about that officer. You don't want to be the officer like, it's always questionable with that officer. I don't know. Because that reputation follows you as well. And it follows you to the district attorney's office too. Where they're like, yeah, we've heard about this guy. Like, because they keep a spreadsheet on officers. And they'll access it and go, this officer, ooh, yeah, he's not on the Brady list, but I really don't want him on the stand. It's only a matter of time before he's on the Brady list. So you want to have that reputation as like, I know my reputation. He's an asshole. Yeah. But I've never been called lazy, never been called a coward, and I've never been called a liar.
Yep.
So I can live with that. Yeah, I've been called an asshole. Yeah, I've been called a strident prick. I've been the dickhead with the cowboy hat, but I've never been called lazy, coward, or a liar. So I can live with that. I have a good reputation in that department. What I tell you is the truth. When I talk to my supervisors, hey, this is what really happened. They tend to believe me because I've proven time and again, I'm not going to lie to them. Hey, sir, I screwed up. Hey, Sarge, I fucked up. And let me tell you, admitting you fucked up goes a lot further in the long run down the road when you can't prove it because no one's recording it, but they're accusing you of something. You go, no, sir, that's not what happened. And your reputation does follow you because we're human. Because if you lie to me once, everything goes into doubt from that point on. But if I always know, and he always told me the truth, even if it was horribly told me the truth, I can believe what he tells me because I have no reason to disbelieve him because he's never proven anything other. That's what you want as an officer. That's the reputation you want. Fair, firm, and honest. Fairness, firmness, and honesty. And you'll never go wrong. Be ethical. Make your decisions from moral points, ethical and legal, and you'll never be wrong. Morally, ethically, or legally. Mm-hmm. And you're good. You're good all day long. Justify what you do, articulate what you do, and enforce the law and live by the policy of your agency, and you'll live a long career. And you'll retire going, I did the right thing every chance. Yep. I may not have always done it perfectly, but I did the right thing. And hey, that's the end of the day. You want defense attorneys going, yeah, that officer, he's an honest officer. Like, fuck. Damn it. Like, if it was that officer so-and-so, ooh, damn it. He knows his shit. He does his job. Ooh, it's going to be a tough one. And he may still try, but he's going to respect you anyway. Because he still knows it's a game. Defense lawyers and cops actually don't hate each other. It's a game. All you're playing is a game. My goal is to play the game better than they play their game. So I did my job well enough to his client gets convicted because they did indeed break the law. And I wrote a thorough enough report and did my job correctly to sink his client's ass. Yeah. But I've never accused anybody of a crime that I thought was innocent. I never arrested anybody that I thought was innocent. Right. I had enough probable cause to believe they committed the crime. It's the investigator's job to put the rest of it together and the prosecutor's job to get the jury to convict. I know my lane. I stay in my lane. But I know how the prosecutors work, and that's why I try to do what I do as an investigator to make life easier for them. Because I want the good reputation with the prosecutors, too. Like, good officer, good detective, really thorough, does his shit. I don't have to worry too much about his cases. Right. Now, should they go through my case thoroughly? Yes, because I'm still human. I can make mistakes, too. But then it would call me and go, hey, did you mean to write this down? Like, oh, shit, no, I didn't. Right. My bad. Let me correct that. It was a typo or whatever. So, Jamie, anything else to add?
No, not it.
I think that was educational and informative.
It was.
And I hope that people get a lot out of this, especially from the ones that have emailed us that are in current police academies. Everything we're telling you, you can take to the bank. And they should be on your tests as the correct way to do this. Mm-hmm. Don't get up in front of your class and go, oh, instructor so-and-so, I was told by T-Bone and J-Man on the Running Code podcast that you're wrong.
Yeah, don't do that.
Don't do that. Are we wrong? No. Whatever they're teaching you, hey.
They're going to find some berm or some track, and they're going to make you run, and then they're going to make you push the earth until we air our next podcast. Yeah, so just don't do it.
Do what they're telling you to do. Now, if it's an open discussion in the class, like the instructor brings out a topic and says, let's talk about this topic. Yeah, you can say, hey, I heard this. This is what I was told by a detective from Texas. He said this and this and this. And they may go, yeah, that's Fifth Circuit. We're in Ninth Circuit. Ninth Circuit says this.
Yes.
Okay, that's fine. That's fair. Hey, that's fine. Don't argue with them and start a shit show with them over it. You're still a cadet. Know your limits and go, okay. All right, sir. Thank you. Do your own research.
They'll
if you
be
want to
even
know.
impressed that you know that there's different circuits. Because that shit's not.
You know how many officers?
I didn't learn about that there was, what, 11 circuits? Or is it 10?
It's 10 or 11, but
I don't know. I'm gonna look
I
it
know
up.
where we're at.
We're 5th.
We're in Fifth Circuit, which is based out of where?
Louisiana, Texas, and Mississippi.
Yeah, but where's it based out of? Headquarters is New Orleans.
I see. I didn't even know it was in New Orleans.
It's in New Orleans.
Nolans.
Fifth, Nolans. NOLA. The Big Easy. Yeah, the Fifth Circuit is based out of New Orleans. That's where the headquarters is at, but it's Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Florida, and I think Georgia.
All right. So there's 12. So there's 12 regional circuits.
12 circuit courts.
Yeah, 12 regional circuits.
Okay. Well, there you go. There's 12. And if a case stops at that circuit court, that's your ruling. If the case goes from there to the Supreme Court, and where the Supreme Court says, that's now the ruling. So that's how that works.
Yep. So it's just like, okay, so hold on. There's 11 numbered circuits, right?
And the Supreme Court is the 12th.
Yes, and then of course, well, I was gonna say D.C. is District Court of the District of Columbia, but it's kind of weird. It's like there's 13 federal circuit courts called the U.S. Court of Appeals. They consist of 12 regional circuits, which covers 50 states and the District of Columbia, and one nationwide federal circuit, which has specialized subject matter jurisdiction.
Would that be the Supreme Court of the United States?
I would say, maybe, because it's nationwide.
Because it's 9.
Nationwide.
That's 9 justices, because you have to have an odd number, because you have to be able to have a tie deadlock, a break of a tie.
Yep.
So you have to have 9 Supreme Court justices. You can have 7, you can have 9, you can have 11, but you can't have an even number because you got to have a tiebreaker.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. So, hey, even I fell on that one. But I do know my circuit court is 5th.
Yeah. So
That's right. My decisions are made out of.
what we can do, what can be done in the 5th, can't be done necessarily in the 1st.
Or the 9th.
Or the
Or
9th.
the 7th.
Yeah.
Different, what's legal in California may not be legal in Texas and vice versa.
Yeah.
Because of a circuit court ruling that hasn't made it to the Supreme Court yet. So
That's true.
you got to know your laws. You got to know your jurisdictional laws. Know your circuit court rulings. That's why when you see the case, I'll look up the circuit. It might say Supreme Court, or it might say Ninth Circuit, or Seventh Circuit, or it may say your state's Court of Criminal Appeals, whatever. So that's how that works. So, brothers and sisters out there, be safe, know your job, learn your job. There are other dangers than just getting hurt in this job. There's a danger of losing your job because you didn't know your job, and you did something wrong that you didn't realize was wrong, but it doesn't matter. Once you put that badge on your chest, they expect you to know every single law there is, and unfortunately, that's not how that works. But there are landmark Supreme Court rulings you need to know in every topic: use of force, search and seizure, Miranda, Fourth Amendment, Fifth Amendment, Sixth Amendment, Eighth Amendment. There's case laws you need to know, and it would behoove you to read Graham versus Connor, Garner versus Tennessee, Pennsylvania versus Mims, Miranda versus Arizona. It would behoove you to read all these cases and at least know them. At least read the what's it called? The decision. You may not got to read the entire case, but read what led up to it and then what the court said.
Yeah.
And the officer made this stop. This is what he found. This is what he did. And the court has ruled, blah, 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 blah. And this is where we say he's wrong or he's right.
Yep.
Because some officers make good Supreme Court case law and some don't make good Supreme Court case law. And typically if it gets overturned, it's because the officer did something he shouldn't have. Now, does that mean the officer's in trouble? No, because there may not have been a Supreme Court ruling yet on that subject. So, he may not be in trouble. But he's going to be mentioned for the rest of life in a Supreme Court ruling because he screwed something up. So you don't want to be the officer that makes a Supreme Court ruling for bad reasons. You want to be the officer that makes one for good reasons, upholding what you did. Going, we uphold. That's what you're looking for. We uphold the officer's decision. Excellent.
Yep.
We decry the officer's decision. Oops. Hey, you know what? We always need barbers. And bear in mind that it takes 2 to 3, 4 years, maybe 5 years to get to Supreme Court. It takes forever to perk through that system. So you might be retired by the time they came back around. Like, whatever. I'm retired on my porch now. Grew my hair long. I drink and smoke weed all day. I don't care no more. So just be safe, know your job, pass on our podcast to other people that you think could benefit from the knowledge, or they might think it's funny, or they learn something, or whatever. Let's get the word out there. Send it to everybody you know. Put it on Reddit. Put it on Instagram. Put it on Facebook. I don't care.
Reddit.
Well, be careful with Reddit. If you have a beef with something we said, please email us at runningcode2023@gmail.com or leave a comment on YouTube, and we'll get to it. But unless, J-Man, you have anything else to add?
Nope.
All right, well, I think this was a good day's work. And Jax, he's very happy. Clearly, he calmed down. Now he's just sleeping. So from J-Man, Jax, and I here in South Texas Running Code, we wish everybody to have a good week and be safe. And we're out of here.